wanted to share with us her bold story of a bold career move from international relations to product design. So let me share. Shall I share the screen for a second, just so that you've got that context? Can you see this? So navigating your product design career. And then I'll stop sharing and pass over to you, Lena.
Okay. Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here today. And I have some very, very tiny presentation, I would say. What I want to share today is about my journey, how I got into this design area, how I traveled, changed countries and industries, and what it took me to get at the point where I am now. So let me share my screen. It should work. We tried. Okay. One, I suppose. No. Oh, this one. Okay. Can you see my screen? Just let me know when you see my screen. Yeah. So this is our tiny agenda for today. First of all, about myself. So I was born and raised in Ukraine. I was born in Kiev, the capital of Ukraine, and I grew up in the outskirts of the city, like a district which is close to the woods. Very nice. I remember lots of things from childhood, how we went skiing together with my grandfather, and yeah, lots of fun. However, let's go closer to the journey. So I received my bachelor's degree in linguistics, in philology and translation. So I learned English and French languages, and this is how I got into international relations path. So this was my step into international relations. Okay. So first of all, I worked as an international relations manager, interpreter, and translator for almost 7 years. I met different people from all over the world, and it was quite an exciting journey, and it was quite difficult at some points because you have to work with high-ranking officials. You need to keep everything organized. You need to be very organized, and you need to translate. Sometimes you are the only one at the negotiations. And once I had to interpret during 5 hours back and forth. So it was like crazy times, but very fun. What I can bring and how I can connect this now with the design journey, I would say that the main connection is that I learned different people, how they behave, different traditions, even different diplomatic things from different countries. So when you shake the hand of a person, when you don't. So it was a kind of user research. I didn't know back then about it, that it was a huge user research, but in fact it was user research. And I met lots of different users from all over the world during this international relations journey. But then things went slightly wrong in Ukraine, and when the war was beginning and when the Crimea was annexed by Russia and the eastern part of Ukraine was invaded. So me and my husband decided that we would love to relocate and to try something else. And we signed up for a program, for student program, and relocated to the Middle East, which was quite a decision for us. Completely new culture, completely new people, everything new. And the thing is, when you relocate and you don't know the local language, you think that you can't find your place at first. However, there are some encouraging and discouraging people always. And the encouraging people, they try to help you, they encourage you, they tell that you can do whatever you want. Anyway, you can learn the language, you can grow and develop. Discouraging people told me that my upper point in the career in this country will be cleaning. But I didn't believe them. So yeah, don't ever trust people who try to discourage you and diminish all that you already have. So yeah, we got into this student program, and there I met as founder of a startup. So this was the CEO of a startup who did some kind of business and market intelligence. And I was shy back then, and it's not quite common in Ukraine to connect, to network with people. But still, I decided that this is a good opportunity just to ask him what the startup is doing, and maybe I can be helpful somehow in any way. So I approached the CEO of this startup, and he said, like, okay, send me your CV. And he saw that I speak different languages, which was relevant for the startup because they used the keyword search and they used some online types of searches that required different languages skills. So I approached him, and immediately when I got into the office, we talked a bit. He said, okay, that's it, we will think about it. But then I started asking questions. And I asked several questions, and after I asked the questions, he said, okay, we take you. Because asking questions is always important. I won't say, there are no stupid questions, believe me. You can ask whatever you want. Just show that you are interested. And this is, at this point, this was my victory. I showed that I'm really interested in this position, and I want to try. Though I had no clue about technology or design or whatever field, anything. So I was employed in this startup, and I was employed as a chief research analyst, which was the position that my CEO invented. He called me, you're our chief research analyst, which meant that I did actually everything. I did a bit of marketing, I did a bit of research, I did a bit of keyword adjustments for the software. I did cooperate with some developers on different projects. And then the thing happened that the designer left the company. The designer was from a different city, and the designer just left the company. And they were like, okay, we need a design. How can we do the design? How can we continue? Because we were like early stage startup company. And I said one day, okay, I see that this is not good. This is not matching our colors, or this is pixelated and I don't like it. So I said, like, can I be a designer? My CEO was a very open-minded person. So he said, okay, you can try. If you succeed, we can continue. So I tried, and I figured out that for the design, I need some specific software. I can't just design in PDF and write everything there. So I found, this is how I found actually Sketch on Mac. And I used the Sketch and Zeppelin, I believe there was Zeppelin, to transfer the designs to developers. And this was my first professional design software. So I started designing, I started watching the videos, literally watching the videos on YouTube, how people do the design, how they use these design systems and everything. And I learned by myself. I would say that the courses at this point, the courses like, for example, Google UX Design Certificate or anything, probably wouldn't give me as much as just self-learning on YouTube, because when I started the Google UX Design course, I already knew something, because I saw that the results that people publish are completely different, and people who don't understand the basics already before the course, they can't actually advance in the course. They just submit the designs and they just don't get this understanding. But when you already started a bit and you do the course, then it works. It's really nice and it works. So this is how I became a designer after being a chief research analyst. So I got to design different software as a services, mostly for desktop, for mobile. Sometimes we were cooperating with other small startups and we designed for them, for example, for traveling app during COVID. We had some crazy ideas, like sharing a plane when you can't get any transportation during COVID, and lots of different ideas. It was really fun and it was really cool, and it was a great start, I believe. Because if you get into the big corporation, you have very limited ability for your creativity, for your designs, for your projects. So you work on something specific. But in a startup company, you can work on millions of things. and every day something changes all the time, and you can do lots of different things. You can really create, you can learn from different people, you can cooperate, and then they will employ one more designer, and it will be really cool on one hand. But on the other hand, you don't have like a person to learn from. So you don't have like a senior designer or design manager, and you need to do everything by yourself. So yeah, it's like a two-way street. But I would suggest that for the beginning, the startup is like the best place to start, in my opinion, in my humble opinion. So during this time, what I did, I also attended lots of different events. And this was cool because I learned about other people, how they design their systems as well. So different events, this one in particular on this picture is a random event in China, which was very funny because my CEO couldn't go. And he said like, do you want to go to China? Because I can't go. And I was like, what should I do there? He said, well, you need to pitch our startup in different incubators in China. And I was like, okay, maybe I should try. And this was a good decision again. So I would say the second good point after asking, first one was asking questions. The second one is like, do it, just go for it. If you have an opportunity, you never know that if this is good or bad for you until you try. So if you have any opportunity, just go for it, try it. If you don't like it, you won't go for the second time. But for the first time, just try something new, broaden your horizons, definitely meet new people, develop new skills. And this is really good. All these events and everything is very good for developing your skills, not just as a designer, but even more like a manager, seeing everything from the product perspective, which I believe for designers is quite important as well. Because when you just design, you are not very valued. You are valued, of course, but I mean that you get more value when you understand how the product management works as well. So not just the design part of it, because you will be able to manage the stakeholders, to talk to people, and to understand why the decisions are made, and explain to them why this will be better for business if they go for this specific design rather than just random one. Okay. So then what happened to me, I decided to get a formal education in design. And I chose to go to London University, London Metropolitan University, to take a master's degree in digital media. Of course, I had already this design background, but I wanted to get kind of formal education to see if I can advance more in my field, and also to get international experience in London, because London is a financial hub, like a hub for all the huge banks and corporations and companies and lots of startups. So I wanted to get this really international experience. So I went to learn, and I graduated from London Metropolitan University. What I would say, if you want to go to university to become a designer, I wouldn't say that master's is the best option. Maybe if you get a bachelor degree in design, this would be more comprehensive, but master's is just for advancing your knowledge in the direction of science, more kind of scientific stuff, and maybe doing your PhD afterwards. So master's definitely is not your starting point in design career. So it may be good for you to broaden your horizons, but I wouldn't start with master's. So master's is not quite the right starting point if you want to transition into UX or product design or UI design or any kind of design. Yeah, okay. Alongside all this master's degree, I did lots of courses, trainings, learnings, just random ones that I could find online. Nowadays it's like you have a variety of different courses, so you can embark on any course from Coursera or maybe LinkedIn Learning, or even YouTube videos from different bloggers who are designers. Some of them are really, really helpful, and they really explain how to build your portfolio, how to do things how to approach animation or whatever, any specifics that you need in your craft. So yeah, just decide what you want to learn and go for it. Yep. Okay, and after while I was still in the university, I decided that in summer I won't waste my time. So I started in winter, in January. So I had a summer for me before the second semester at university. So I decided that I'm not going to waste my time and I need to get a job somewhere, design job ideally. But you know, probably all of you know that the market is really tough now, and it's very complicated, especially if you need to work part-time or if you are still on a student visa or whatever. It's very complicated to find a role, and even to find some kind of temporary internship, it's very, very hard. But I was lucky. I found a website. It doesn't exist anymore. I don't know what happened to them. Unfortunately, this is very unfortunate, because this was a website for the students who want to have some summer jobs in startup companies. So this company cooperated with startups and actually was finding people for the startups. So I applied through the website, but I applied for the position of operations assistant intern, which was quite different from a designer. But let me tell you the story, how I got into design in this specific company. So I applied as operations assistant intern, and this was a medical technology startup, which is heavily regulated industry. Before I even started, I had to complete several courses and certificates before going there. Okay, YouTube channels, yeah, I will reply. So even before I started there, so okay, I lost my point when I looked at the chat, but yeah. So I started there. I had to complete lots of certificates to start. And then I was managing a clinical trial. They had a mobile app, desktop software, and they also had an app on a table. This was a movement disorders startup. So they were detecting movement disorders through video analytics, and it was quite sophisticated technology. So we did a clinical trial with a major pharmaceutical company from the United States, and I was one of the people who were managing this clinical trial, which was very responsible area. But alongside this management of the trial, I was interviewing the doctors and nurses whose patients were using this application to improve the usability of the application. So basically what I did like a kind of research, let's call it UX research or user testing, and I was collecting feedback from users to improve the system and also to bring the data which was necessary for data science guys to build the models for this application. It's very complicated, but yeah, you can get there. So by this point, I want to tell you that you never know when you start getting into design job. You just need to get on the market, ideally get into some startup, and then you can move within the company. So what happened to me was that they noticed, I told them that I'm a designer, in fact, and they had a redesign of this desktop-based application at this moment, and they needed one more designer. So I gradually transitioned into design. And what happened next, they offered me part-time job. So when my semester started, I worked for them part-time as a designer, and they offered me a full-time job as a designer in the end. I didn't go for the full-time because I still had my final project to complete. And yeah, I wanted to change a bit the industry. But still, you see that everything is possible. So you just need my best advice for those people who don't have real design experience. Just try to get into company, see how designers work in the company, try to help, just approach people, tell them that you are interested. And they never tell you, okay, you won't do this, we won't allow you to do this. They have lots of tasks, believe me, and they will give you something, some area of responsibility where you can show your skills and you can gradually grow. in the company, and they will notice more who you are, what you can do, your capabilities, and you will gradually transition into the role that you want. Even if not in this company, you will have some experience that you can show in another company. Okay. I don't have a bubble with my current job photo here, but yeah, anyway, so let's touch upon the next step. So I graduated from university, and it was quite challenging time because when I still was on a student visa, I couldn't find any place to work for because people were not sure if I get a graduate visa or if I leave. So they were not sure about me and if to employ me or not. So I was thinking what I want to do next. And my thought was that I need to go into a big corporate environment and try it, because I worked a lot in these startup companies on different stages. So now I want to try to work for a big company. And what happened, I got a job as a customer representative in the branch in the bank next to my house. Actually, I was looking always into the window of this bank, and I saw that the customer representatives are always happy. They chat to each other. The atmosphere is really nice. So I got the job as a customer representative. For me, as non-native speaker, maybe it was a bit challenging, I believe, because sometimes people can't understand the accent at some point, maybe. But still, how this helped me. I learned all the regulations of the bank. I did lots of trainings and courses along the way. So I learned from the inside how the customers behave, what technologies they use, how they use the website, how they use the applications, what problems they face when they come to the branch to ask about this transferring money to my friend or something else. So I learned from the inside what problems they already have, how the technology works, what applications we have, what we have on tablets in bank, what are these user journeys to open an account, what is bereavement journey, what is the journey for credit card, or whatever any other problems that they may have. What are the financial regulations and everything else. And then I noticed in the internal database that we have an opening for a product designer. So I just applied internally. And actually, this was my benefit because I already work in the bank. I already know how it works and everything. So I applied internally, I had several interviews, and I got to the point where I am now. So I got, as you see, all my jobs in the UK went not directly to product design, but went a slightly twisted way, I would say. Meanwhile, when I was working as a customer representative, I can tell you that I submitted like maybe 200 applications or something for designer positions. At some points, I got to the final rounds of interviews. For example, a different provider for cards. They are issuing cards for different banks, so like a huge provider, financial as well. But the thing was that they said, okay, you don't have any experience in FinTech. So we have another candidate who has an experience. I got to the last round of interviews. They liked me, but the problem was this experience seen in a specific industry. I also got to some final steps in some startup providing specific education, some kind of technical education app for people who need to pass certifications for specific professions in the UK. Quite complex, but very nice one. I got to the final stage there as well. But there was a guy who had 11 years of experience, and I had less years of experience, and the guy was the UK citizen. So definitely it's more beneficial for them to take the person who doesn't need right to work or any kind of visa in the future. So yeah, there were different cases, but the main point here, I would say, just don't give up. and find your way into the product design, because all our ways differ and we can enter the product design in a slightly different way than other people. So I see that I'm talking, and we have questions already. Let me just see.
Would you like me to read the questions out for everyone to hear?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, okay. Well, first of all, Francesca said that it was really insightful that, you know, that you said not to do a master's degree, you know, just to go for something that's going to give you more of a general picture of UX design. So just adding that comment in. And another question would be from Francesca as well, is which were the best courses or providers that you could recommend? And because there's so many and not all of them are good, so do you know of any that you could recommend?
Actually, I would say that I did just a Google UX design course, but I won't say that this is like a best provider, because it's self-learning mostly. So you already need to know something to learn. I know that there are lots of boot camps, but I didn't try it. So I can't tell you that, okay, this bootcamp is good, because I didn't try it myself. So it's difficult to say. My best advice is just get into a small company, start maybe like there are now these positions when you are assistant to SEO, but it's called somehow in a new fancy way. It's called like associate or something, SEO associate, or some kind of position in a startup when you help SEO and the founders of this founders associate. Yeah, exactly. I saw this on LinkedIn. So get something like founders associate, and then out of there you can understand what you are interested in more, maybe product, maybe design, because I know the company founders and the founders associate who now is their product manager. So she started as an associate. She was doing everything, marketing, design, hiring for the company, and then got into something one. So I would say just try maybe get some experience and understand if you really need it. And at the point that you understand that you want to do the design and you want to go there, maybe look for the courses or bootcamp or something. The thing is that I can't tell you that, okay, this is a good provider, because I myself didn't do it. So it won't be fair to advertise anyone while I didn't have experience with them.
Yeah.
Just to interrupt, I've actually just put a few also, because I've done a few bank boot camps. So I've just put a few links in the chat to give you a flavor of those. Understand that these are ones that you pay for, but there are also government funded ones as well, where you can get 6 to 8 weeks of free boot camp. So it's worth going on the government website to find those as well. And they're just many different providers, but at least they are free.
Yeah, and I would say maybe try some free courses as well. Just start with the free courses to understand the direction in general. Even this Google UX design certificate, you can audit it for free if you don't want to get the certificate in the end. You can audit this course on Coursera for free. And this will be a helpful start as well for you to understand if you really are interested in this domain and how to proceed further. Maybe you would love to focus more on design systems, for example, because I had a colleague who is solely focused on design systems and building the systems, and maybe you will focus on UX research, then you will need completely different courses as well.
Thank you. Ruth has said she's asking, do you have any favorite YouTube channels or resources for learning that you could share?
Yeah, definitely. I have some. I didn't make a list. I'm sorry, I didn't make a list of it. But if you would love to, I can share later. I can make a specific list of resources if you want me to. I will just make a note for myself. List of resources, YouTube channels. There is a designer, Femke, definitely. I recommend her channel, but yeah, I will just make a list with links that we can share in the community, yeah, if you don't mind. YouTube channels and resources.
Rachel, do you want me to carry on with the questions from the chat, or
yeah, we could. Have we covered all the questions?
No, there's a few more, but I didn't.
Yeah.
You know, maybe do we want to let people just ask questions as well, and we can go back to them?
Yeah, if anyone has any, they can just unmute themselves and just ask the question, and then Paula can kind of drop in the other questions as well.
I see that there are more questions in the chat. Let's maybe proceed with the questions.
Okay, that's fine. So Francesca also asked that she's curious about how did you position yourself for an operations role if it wasn't your background?
Yeah, so it's a good question because it's a medical scene and I never worked in any MedTech. So I tried, for this specific role, I had to record a 2-minute video introduction. This was the requirement, which was very tricky. I recorded like 10 videos, I suppose, of myself talking, and every time I was like, oh, no, not this part, something else. So I positioned myself as a person who was managing complicated projects during my international relations career. So I explained that I have a good management skills of all the complex projects, that I can connect all the bits and pieces of the project easily, because I managed really complicated projects with interpreters, with drivers, restaurants booking, sightseeing, and lots of stuff, which was relevant for the operations. And for the MedTech part, I couldn't say that I was like a MedTech person, but I remembered my previous experiences in the design. So I told them how I designed the complex software as a service, and designed mobile apps as well, because they were designing mobile app. So I was trying to gather all the bits and pieces of everything to show that I can manage this clinical trial, I can talk to people, I can do the research and feedback because I did this as a designer, and I can manage projects because I did this during my international relations career. So this was my positioning for this role.
Rachel, do you want me to ask you a question?
No, I can probably ask. I guess, I mean, one of the things that springs to mind for me, Elena, was actually your resilience. I mean, I'm not sure if I had done all of those different moves, and your zest for actually, you know, actually the curiosity that you have and the fact that you'll tackle anything. I think going completely out of your comfort zone is amazing. But one of the questions I had is like, what traits do you think you've drawn upon to actually get you to where you are?
I believe the first trait that helped me from my childhood, initially, this was my persistence. So I could sit for hours doing something till it's done, and until I get it done. So the persistence is the one thing. Resilience, definitely, it's very helpful, especially in the current market, where we have so many people on the market and it's so difficult to find the good role for yourself. So resilience is very important. And I would say curiosity is very important for designers, because there is always something new. There are new technologies, new things happening in the design community, AI is very popular right now, and everybody's like AI, designing for AI, using AI in design. So just be curious, try to go out and learn. For example, nowadays I try to attend lots of design events. I usually attend some FinTech related ones, but also some other domains as well. For example, I attend on a regular basis the Monzo event. You probably know the Monzo. They are like mobile banking. It's completely different from our traditional bank setting, but at the same time, it gives me some insights of what's going on, what other designers are doing in this domain, how they are using AI, and what things we can actually, you know, there is a saying, steal like an artist. So what things we can steal from other companies that can be useful for us. Also, I recently attended a UX event, which was a hackathon, and it was trauma-informed design. On first sight, like, okay, how this trauma-informed design can be related to banking at all. But after this hackathon, I made a presentation for my team internally about the trauma-informed design and how we can implement it on the website in the banking industry. Because if you think about it, for example, for a moment, okay, everybody has a trauma every day, something happens, someone, I don't know, was rude today to us, and we need to make a decision when we are excited, when we are traumatized. So we need to make a crucial decision about a loan, or we need to do a bereavement, or we need to calculate something, and we are excited, and how to help people in different states, how to design for vulnerable people so they can make these important decisions on the way, and they can trust their bank that they are making informed decisions. So if you look at all the different events, you can always find something that you can apply in your own work, and you can bring to your team, and you can implement successfully within your organization. So I strongly believe that curiosity is the key thing for designers.
Yeah, I was interested about the hackathon because I think that's a good way, if you're not on the career ladder yet, to actually demonstrate your commitment to your art or your you know, the direction that you want to go in. Was there a particular place that you looked for these opportunities, or was it just something that you stumbled upon on LinkedIn? Or
I was looking on LinkedIn. I usually look at Meetup and Eventbrite. So I'm just trying to, most of the events I think I find on LinkedIn, from network on LinkedIn. So this is another key thing, just network with people, connect with people, talk to people, because you never know when you meet at some event together with all these people, and what will happen in the future. So networking is really good. And while I was looking for my job, I tried to do lots of networking. At first, I couldn't afford going to London every day for the events. So I was trying to figure out different ways of doing this, like online webinars, like this one, for example, where I can meet people, where I can talk to people, connect with people after the webinar, ask questions maybe about their job, about the industry, company. Also, I found quite useful to attend virtually some major events. For example, there was a SalesTech exhibition in London, but if you are registered, you have a chat with participants. And this is how I met lots of people as well. So I just chat randomly to people who have startups in London, and now I know these people and we still keep in touch. So I chatted with them online because I couldn't go to attend the event. And yeah, it was very useful as well. Also, the communities like LtUX community, there is a product design ladies community, then community of designers and developers in London. Just join the communities, talk to people, get into conversations, maybe attend some event at some point, and it's very helpful and very useful, and you can share different experiences. This is how I met designers from, for example, Aviva, from Jo Malone and different other companies. You just meet people through the communities and through the events.
Yeah.
Also, one great thing that helped me a lot and maybe helpful for other designers here who are building their portfolios, for example, get a mentorship sessions on ADP list. This was really helpful for me. I talked to different mentors on ADP list, but you never know like how it goes. But from every conversation, you can pick something for yourself. From one conversation, I picked up this online events for SalesTech. From another conversation, I picked up what I need to develop, how I need to develop my skills to easily pass interviews. And I had a wonderful, wonderful mentor who helped me to build my portfolio. And this portfolio helped me to land my job. So yeah, you never know what people you meet. Just do the sessions, listen to people. They can give you great insights and great feedback. So yeah, this is another thing that you can do.
And is it possible to share, was it a website that you went on to get your mentor?
Let me just drop in the chat. It's called ADP list.
Interested in that.
Yeah.
And in terms of startups, I mean, obviously you're very, sorry, before I go into that, Francesca has asked a question about how you see the impact of AI on the job market for product designers. I mean, we're all kind of, yeah. We, you know, on one hand, it's a wonderful thing, isn't it? But I guess we're also, you know, thinking about what that means for everyone's, you know, roles. So do you have a particular attitude towards the impact of AI?
I would say that designers who think strategically, they won't lose their jobs with AI. What I mean by strategic thinking, designers who understand the product development cycle, how the products are developed, who understand the business needs and the customer needs as well, who can match up these needs and who can talk to developers, who do vibe coding for themselves and start understanding how the things are coded. So designers who have broad knowledge of the product and who think strategically and can make strategic decisions that really improve business metrics, they won't go anywhere. So they won't be replaced. I see on the market nowadays that there are lots of opportunities for senior designers mostly, but very few for juniors. So I believe they start kind of using AI for some tasks that they would give to juniors. But still, I mean, we need designers anyway. I don't know if the situation improves on the market and if it's only for designers right now. I don't think it's only for designers. But AI can help us, but won't replace the strategic thinking, the brain of the designer. So if you are not just moving pixels, like some people say, if you are a strategic designer, AI won't replace you. It will help you do some things faster. But still it can't replace for you even the user research. It can't replace fully. It can give you the hints in what direction you can move, but not replacing the real people.
Okay, that's great. And just going back to the idea of getting involved in startups, which has obviously been quite helpful for your career development. How did you go about finding startups that you could work with? So that would be, I guess, useful to our community to know how to maybe access those startups.
There are actually the startup databases, and if I'm not mistaken, I had a post on this, but let me just quickly have a look, because there was a database of the UK startups actually, and it was quite helpful. They advertised lots of positions, so it was very interesting thing. So you can Google it, but there are lots of incubators in London, for example, and they frequently advertise some positions in their startups that they have inside the incubator. So yeah, you can try and get the role there and then move into a different one. But I believe I had a list of some things. Let me just try to find it quickly. So you can always Google it and try to go for incubators. This would be my advice. But yeah, let me just try to find it more. Because I remember I had a list of something. This definitely.
We can always share, if you can't find it, Lena, we can always share it.
Yeah, it would be great. I will just try to have a look, but yeah, let me just write it down. It would be better.
No pressure.
List of phrases
Watching you.
to find startup roles. Yeah, I had the websites list roles. Yeah.
Great. Have we any more questions?
I think there's Saranya. Do you want to ask your question, or would you like me to? I'm just trying to because I know Saranya, so I'm just trying to see if I can get her to talk on here.
Hi, Elena.
Great. Yeah.
So I was wondering, I wanted to understand your journey about how you started with your portfolio and how that evolved over the years. And if you had to start it today, how would that look like?
Yeah, definitely. So I started with my portfolio only in the UK, because previously when I worked in a startup, nobody actually asked me for the portfolio, as we were doing some projects for different startups. And they were like, okay, we can do this, and that's it. This was not an issue. But yeah, definitely in the UK, I had to do my portfolio to move on. So I started with the presentation. I was thinking like, okay, I had a conversation with a mentor on ADP list who told me like, okay, the presentation will be enough. That's good. That's enough. So I started with the presentation. I showed it to several people and they were like, okay, it's nice, it's good. But today I understand that it's not nice. It's not good at all. But yeah. You just need to get different opinions. You need to get to know people and what they are doing. Then later on, of course, I learned that no one is actually opening any presentations whatsoever. You need a website. You definitely need a website, especially nowadays when you can build a website easily on Figma or Framer or whatever platform that you are using, Webflow, anything. So I built my portfolio on Framer, and and it took much time to improve it, I would say. So luckily, while I was talking to different people, I collected several projects on this website, and gradually I was improving it. I was focusing on the main projects, so you don't need to focus on everything, because there is a desire to put everything there just to show that you can do and this and that and icons and everything, but it's not really relevant for the market and not really useful, I would say. So I found this mentor. I focused on the portfolio. I focused on just 3 projects to show in the portfolio, different ones on different platforms, desktop, then tablet and mobile, just to have a variety of choices and a variety of opportunities. And my mentor, she was giving me feedback in this Luma application. So she was actually investing much time into talking through the project and telling me, okay, I don't understand why you made this design decision here. You need to explain this. You need to explain that. You need to reduce this part. No one is reading this. It's like not relevant and not interesting. And hiring managers have just several minutes to assess your portfolio. So yeah, I was listening, I was improving, and actually my mentor told me that she was working with me because I was implementing her feedback very fast. She told me that lots of people just come, they ask questions, they ask for help, but then they do nothing. You give them feedback and they just do nothing. They don't get back to you. They don't tell you if they improved the portfolio, if they landed a job or whatever. So she said, like, it was a pleasure working with you because you did everything that I was saying, and we actually managed to improve it. So this, and how to structure the portfolio, I would say that today, the main thing that hiring managers are looking for is like KPIs. So I know that this is a problem for the people who don't have like real projects, for example, and yeah, KPIs may be tricky, but starting from your headline, you need to tell that you are the designer who is improving all the KPIs of the company, like boosting whatever KPIs, views, or I don't know, sales or anything, just to highlight the KPIs. It's like a key point that nowadays lots of designers are talking about. Don't try to display millions of projects. Focus on something. Focus on your best work. Try to get the best visuals. If your visuals are slightly outdated and you did this system and it's rather outdated, try to improve the visuals. The logic stays the same, but you can still improve the visuals for your portfolio. And I would say, don't try to write an essay there. Just concisely lead through your portfolios, through your decisions, and allow the hiring manager to understand why you made this specific decision, why you did this, not that one. Even don't be afraid to highlight that something didn't work, because people are not ideal. We are not ideal people. And in my current projects, some things don't work as well. So some research may not be efficient, and I may not get good insights to prove the point. But it's not the end of the world. It's how we learn. So you need to highlight also some challenges during the projects, because we don't have ideal projects. It never happens that everything is ideal, and we were like ideal team with ideal people who never argued about anything. So
yeah. I absolutely couldn't agree more, Elena. That's a brilliant talk, and I'm sure that people will